Hey, everybody, welcome to the time management tips just for contractors. I'm glad you're here. The reason I'm glad you're here is because this time management thing is a real bear. I think we're all dealing with it in some way, shape, or form. And I know that because I deal with it. I've been dealing with time management, problems with time for, ever since I decided I wanted to be a business person. I've been dealing with it even when I was a student. I used to live out of my day timer to understand what had to come next and make sure I got everything in. And the times that I stopped worrying about time management were probably some of the darkest days of my life. And there's a training coming up I want you to join, and you'll hear my story. It's a story of how I really let my family down because my time was just getting away from me. I don't know if you know this, but the company I had before this, I was I ran a large business coaching company. It was global. And I was traveling a lot. Like I was that dad who got on the plane Sunday night to be somewhere else Monday morning, and I would be wherever, usually San Diego, until Thursday, and then I'd fly home. So I was gone from what I thought was just Monday to Thursday was really Sunday to Thursday night. And so, anyways, you'll hear more about the story later, but it really caused, when I say it caused a lot of stress, it's so easy to say that sentence. And probably like you, it's a lot harder to live it. So I don't want to just throw it away by saying, geez, that was a really hard time in my life. I had to relearn what I had already learned about time management. And I think if I'm in that situation, maybe you are too. So listen, if you are feeling the pain of being scattered as a contractor, being frazzled, finding yourself unfocused, pulled in a million directions at all times, if you find yourself being reactive, then I think you're going to enjoy this episode. You really are, because there's going to be some solutions here. And I want you to take part. There's a call coming up. It's on June the 10th. June 10th. It's a free training call. All you got to do is text me to get into I have to get you on the registration because there's some free downloads. Before I get to these 10 tips, let me tell you how to get that. Just send a text message to me. It's super simple. Let's keep it easy. My cell phone number is 604-837-8361, and just say the word time, and I'll put you on the time management training list. It's just training course, right? So the goal for the beginning of the course is that you've got this pain. You recognize that something has to change, as we all do. If you're growing and busy, you're busy. If you're just starting out or you still haven't figured out your market properly in construction, you're trying to grow and time is still a problem. And you're wondering, when does this get easier? Well, it doesn't necessarily get easier. I'm sorry, that actually wasn't one of the funny parts. It doesn't get easier. It's how we manage it that helps us get proactive. You see, you cannot manage your time. Time management itself is actually one of the worst named things ever, like licorice ice cream. It actually tastes better than it sounds, right? But you can manage your priorities. I can manage my priorities. I cannot manage my time. You and I get 24 hours a day. You get 24 hours a day, whether you're a billionaire or whether you're poor and living under a bridge. You get 24 hours a day. That's it. How you and I choose to use that time comes down to priority management. If you decide to come on the training, there's actually some downloads that you need, and you need those downloads because I'm trying to save you time, because there's a lot of note taking, and there's a lot of, if I say models, they're pictures or images or diagrams that you need to fill in. There's note taking, right? This is a real class. It's an hour, but it's a class, and we're going to be going full bore. I've got a presentation prepared. We're going through some exercises. You're going to have to write notes, but you're here to learn. If you're coming on my classes, if you like the podcast, you're going to like the time management training. If you like the YouTube videos, you're going to like the time management training. If you've ever worked with me or seen me speak at one of your conferences, you're going to like the time management training, because we're doing stuff. You're going to leave and go, I actually got something accomplished in that. It wasn't just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. I feel like we're a little bit in the blah, blah, blah mode right now. So let me tell you what the goal is for this special episode. I want you to get to a place in your business as an owner where you're that forward-facing business owner, where you're calm, you're collected. You are working in the business proactively, not reactively. And it's all possible. It's going to take some changes. And the challenge that we all have, and the challenge I had, is I forgot the things I had learned. Perhaps nobody's ever showed you the time management tips, the tricks that other people are using. Perhaps there's a mindset shift that you need. Quite often, the biggest problem that we have as contractors is, gentlemen, we have a 4-inch problem. Geez, I hope none of you were drinking your coffee at that point. You have a 4-inch problem. That 4-inch problem is not what you're thinking. Get your head out of the gutter. It is the space between your ears. That is where the problem starts. And so let's talk about 10 tips. I want to take you through 10 tips. These are on top of the things you're going to learn in the class. But these are 10 tips for you to learn, think about, put in place, consider to help you move forward with time management. Time management, by the way, is like a haircut. You got to keep going back and getting it again and again. So don't think that these 10 tips are one and done. It is not a silver bullet. It is a magazine full of bullets. I've seen some of the Facebook posts from quite a few of you. Corey, shout out to you and some of your very cool Facebook posts with your predator hunting and the lightning in the background and all that stuff. But listen, here's the time management tips. I want to move you from being scattered and frazzled and unfocused towards being calm and collected and proactive and ultimately profitable. Not only profitable, because you might already have the money, but do you have the time to go enjoy it? So let's go through these 10 tips right now. Okay, so number one is keep your time in check. One of the things you're going to learn, you're actually going to learn this in the training, is start your meetings by ending them. What are you talking about, Rubino? Yeah, I want you to start your meetings by ending them. And that, it looks like this. When Fred comes into your office, Fred says, hey, Dom, have you got a second? I'll say, yeah, I do, actually. I have 15 minutes. So it's 6:45 right now. Can we be done at 7? Fred's going to look at me and say, yeah, sure. Okay, now that doesn't seem like a huge deal. But what I've done is I've just set the rules for this meeting. Fred and I are now not going to have a production meeting where we're talking about the Smith job or the Nebraska job or whatever. But we've got 15 minutes. So you start your meetings by ending them. You're going to learn about that in the training on June the 10th. The other thing I want you to do is take breaks in between tasks. I'll tell you what, you may hate or love your iPhone or your Google phone. I'll talk about it from iPhone because I know the phrase. But when I say, hey, Siri, I can book myself. I'm watching my phone right now to see if she picks up on that. If I say, hey, Siri, set an alarm for 10 minutes, I can give myself a 10-minute chunk of time to get my work done. And then the phone goes off, the alarm goes off, and I'm like, okay, there you go. I just did my estimates, my takeoffs, whatever it is. I got back to a customer. It took me 10 minutes, right? So not only do you plan your time, but plan your time off in between. So say that you're going to work for 10 minutes and then give yourself 5 minutes to do something else. Check your emails, check your sports scores, check the weather, check your trail cams, whatever you got to do, but take a few breaks in between so you get some sanity back in your life, but you're doing it proactively. Okay, number 3, plan in advance. Now listen, this is another download you're going to get here. You need to have time blocking. Okay, so one of the ways to be proactive about your time is to actually, like so many other things you hear me talk about here, is get your thoughts on paper. And what we're actually going to do is get your calendar on paper, and that way you can manage it. We cannot manage what we can't measure. And I can measure things that I can see. And so I want you to plan in advance. I'm going to show you how to do that in the training. It's not hard. It's just a change in the way you do things. So it's just little changes is all it is, right? Little tiny changes. Okay, number 4 is I want you to set the right goals. Okay, this is actually a big part of the free training class that's coming up on June the 10th. You got to set the right goals around the right. Say it with me, priorities. I feel like Barney from that show, How I Met Your Mother. If anybody remembers that TV show, you got to set the right goals, but the right goals have to be set around your priorities. Now, you might be surprised when we do this training is that the priorities we're going to be talking about are actually not just business priorities, but they're family priorities. And if you recall the little story I told there, I'd forgotten my family priorities. It kind of sucked a lot for my son. And I needed to be reminded of that. And I did get the reminder, but maybe it took too long. So I have to remember what my goals are, but those goals are measured against my priorities. My priorities tell me how to use my time, and that's how I manage my time better. Okay, so number 4, set the right goals. Number 5, organize your tasks. Listen, this comes right down to strategic planning, which you hear us talk about on the podcast all the time. I have to organize my tasks. I have to organize the tasks in the company. That's what we're going to do in 3 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. Like that all has to be organized. And life gets so much easier when you have a strategic plan in place. I'm just going to say it out loud. When you're coaching with me, whether you're in one of the programs or whether you're doing one-on-one coaching with me, it's a lot about organizing so the business owner can get ahead of the game, so they can get proactive. So that's on the bigger scale, but you can do it at the day level as well. What am I going to do today? What am I going to get done now? Those things need to be organized because everything can go on a list. Sure, I can write lists till the cows come home, but that list needs to have a number 1 and a number 2 and a number 3 and a number 4 item. Something's got to come first and something's got to come last on that list. It's still on the list. It just might not be first. Now, if you'll allow me to do this for a quick second, those of you who have partners in the business, this sometimes causes stress, doesn't it? When there's lots of important things to do in the company, but Dominic wants to do this and Danny wants to do something else. We're both moving forward in the company. We both have the right intent, but we don't have the same end goal. We don't have the same, necessarily the same, we have the same priorities. We just don't have the same order of operations. And so that's where stress and friction gets introduced, whether you have partners, maybe you're in a family business, maybe you've got a really, really close number 2 in command. You're both working hard, but you're on slightly different angles. And so that's a small difference in the beginning, but it's a big difference at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of 5 years. Where did time go? And now look how far apart we are. And why are we having struggles in the company? It could be time management and understanding, organizing our priorities. Back to number 4, right? So organizing your tasks at the macro level. So macro is the big picture level, like at the site plan level, right? And then micro is at the takeoff level, down to the smaller details, right? That's number 5. I'll leave that because we cover that in the training. Number 6, eliminate distractions. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this before. As a matter of fact, for those of you in the contractor strategy group, if you're in there right now, you've seen that we got a little, it's not really a contest, it's kind of a challenge. I want you to send me a picture of you having a coffee, writing in your notebook. And if you do that, I'll send you $5 because I want to buy you that coffee. I want you to eliminate the distractions by, I'm stuttering because I've got my coffee in front of me now. Here, watch this. I'm going to take a sip. That was good. Okay, thank you. Eliminate distractions. I want you to leave the office. I want you to get out of there. Why? I want you to get out of there so you're in a new environment. So people can't just walk in and see you. So that physically you change your space. I know it sounds hokey. I get it. I'm a business coach. I do hokey stuff, but they're tricks. These are hacks. These are little mind games you play on yourself and then fall for them every time. So yeah, I want you to shut down your computer. I want you to grab your phone and a blank workbook. I want you to leave the office and go to a nice coffee shop. Okay, there's got to be one in your town. Go in there, put in some headphones, sit in a table in the corner facing the wall so nobody's distracting you. You're the owner of the company. I need you to think. I need you to have the time to work from the neck up. Everybody else is working from the neck down because of the contracts we signed, because of the priorities you already put in their hands. We need you to leave the office. We need you to get a coffee. We need you to not be distracted. We need you to think so that you can plan and the rest of us can do. That's how it works, right? So eliminate those distractions wherever you can. Eliminating distractions, by the way, also comes back into meetings that you might have. Have you ever had a meeting? It's like, say your foreman, one of your engineers, and somebody on the admin team, bookkeeper. You guys are all having an important meeting. And then the bookkeeper brings up something that now becomes a side meeting. It's a meeting within the meeting. And you're smiling and you're trying to be calm, but you're thinking to yourself, what the heck just happened? We're trying to talk about the Smith job, the Hernandez job, the Nebraska job, whatever it is, right? You allowed a distraction to enter the meeting. And I'll just tell you right now, the thing to do is to look at your bookkeeper. Your bookkeeper's name is Bob. And you say, Bob, that's a great point. Bob needs to talk to Fred, the foreman, about something around the bookkeeping that's taken us off on this side meeting. And what you do is you say, Bob, that's an excellent point. I'd like you and Fred, the foreman, to take that offline and talk about this at the end of this meeting. Does that sound okay? And Bob goes, yeah, okay, yeah. Great, because that's a separate meeting. Let's let you guys deal with that on its own. Excellent. Okay, back to the production meeting, the task in hand. So there we go. So you got to eliminate distractions in so many places. See, what I'm going to show you about time training is something that I had forgotten. I'm not going to show you how to save an hour a day. I'm not going to show you how to save an hour a week or even 1 hour a month. So far, you're thinking, well, Dom, that kind of sucks. No, no, no. I'm not going to show you how to save 1 hour a day. I'm going to show you how to save 2 minutes here and there, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 30 seconds over there. And I'm going to show you how to do that hundreds of times a day. That's where you get ahead. That's how you get proactive. It's these little tricks, these tips, right? Start meetings by ending them. Don't let people go off track in meetings. Have a written plan. By the way, these are all things on the list of 10. So let's just keep going, right? So number 6 was eliminate distractions. Number 7, you might be surprised, avoid multitasking. Avoid multitasking. Some people are great at multitasking. That's what we hear, right? But there's also single piece flow to consider. I can do a lot better doing payroll if I just do payroll. I can't do payroll and takeoffs and answer somebody else's questions at the same time. And so I need to avoid multitasking. We're going to talk more about that in the training. This one can be tough, but I'd like you to think about if your guy is digging fence post holes or guy's just cutting joists and rafters or just doing face frames, whatever you're doing, he has to or she has to do that one job until that job is done, and then they can move to the next. So you got to really be careful. Multitasking, I don't even know where that came up. It's possible to do it, but you're not going to do things well. Single piece flow. Number 8. All right, are you ready for this? I should have a gong here, a little peace and calmness gong. Meditation and exercise. Now listen, some of you are rolling your eyes. Dom, I haven't exercised since the last day of high school. Okay, whatever. Dom, meditate. I'm not meditating. Okay. What I'm saying is give yourself a chance to go walk the dog. Instead of having 3 coffees a day, have 2 coffees and a water. Just do something little to replenish your body. Imagine if you had a truck. I'd like you right now to picture your next truck. The most beautiful truck in the world. I don't care if it's a Rivian. I don't care if it's an F-150. I don't care if it's a 4Runner. I have a 4Runner. I love that thing. You get the brand new one, fully loaded, great package, right? But you take it and you drive it now for 3 years and you never change the oil. You just never change the oil. You put gas in it, but you never change the oil. What's going to happen to that vehicle? What's happening on the inside of that vehicle? Maybe after 3 years, probably with a Toyota, nothing's going to happen. And those of you who really are listening says, Dom, the Rivian doesn't even have oil, but you don't do any maintenance is my point. What happens if you don't do maintenance on the vehicle? If you don't do maintenance on the battery? Yeah, eventually things start to fall apart, sputter and smoke and make noises. That's the same for you and me. This business is running on the engine of you. That engine needs replenishing. That's why your wife has been saying, honey, can we go to Hawaii? Honey, can we go to Carolinas? Honey, you wanted to get away golfing with your friends. Why don't you do that? You got to take the time. Okay. Actually, just last weekend, I went fishing for salmon and halibut with my buddies. We went on a Wednesday. I was fishing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you got to organize your time where other people are going to organize it for you. All right. Number 9, prioritize your tasks. We kind of talked about this already when we talked about organizing your tasks, but it is important to understand priorities. If you've ever read the book, Eat That Frog, it's written by Brian Tracy, which some of you will know as my old business partner in the last company I had. Brian wrote a book called Eat That Frog. And the premise behind Eat That Frog and how it comes to prioritizing is because he tells the story in that book. Look, if you've got to eat a frog tomorrow at work, eat it first thing in the morning. And if you have to eat 2 frogs tomorrow, eat the ugly one first. Prioritize your tasks. There is always a list of things to do, but one of those things on the list is a higher priority than the others. We'll talk a little bit about that in training, and you're going to be surprised at the notes you take and some of the things you probably already knew that you might have forgotten about. You might have forgotten. That's why I want you to join me at the training. It's June 10th. Send me a text message. It's easy. Just text me. Like, this is low tech. 604-837-8361, and just use the word time, and I'll know to register you for the class. Number 10, delegation. Delegation can get caught up in head trash. I want to show my guys I can do it, so I want to do it. My guys need to see me on the job site. They need to see me on the shop floor. So I want to show them that I can do it. I want to show them that I'm willing to roll up my sleeves. We know you're willing to roll up your sleeves. You start the company. There's a time to delegate. And delegation is an important tool in time management, specifically for business owners. By the way, this time management training is only open to the owners of construction businesses, contracting businesses, whether you're a cabinet maker or a roofer, whether you're an electrician or an HVAC company, whether you're running a landscaping company. It doesn't matter, but you have to be the owner of the company, because on that training call, we're going to be talking about delegating, the importance of delegating. And so I want you to get that from an owner's point of view. Just like in the Facebook group, it's called Contractors Strategy Group. It's just business owners in there, because we talk about things like how to delegate to your number two in command. And by the way, the number two person in charge wants you to delegate to them so they can do their job. And the other people down the line want to be delegated to so they can do their job. But there's a very specific language we speak as owners. It's a little bit different than others. That's almost 100% why this podcast even exists, because we talk a different language as business owners. We're weird. We're weird. You're a weird person. I'm a weird guy. You know that already. We just look at the world a little bit differently. For those of you who know hockey, business owners are a little bit like hockey goalies. Hockey goalies are cool people, but they're a little strange. They've got a different sense of humor. They just see the world in a different way. And wouldn't you, if a hard rubber puck was coming flying at your face at 175 miles an hour from 6 feet away, you got to have a sense of humor. Well, that's being reactive in business. And that's why you have that sense of humor, right? Same with us. All right, let me go through those 10 time management tips from a high level as a list one more time, and then one more reminder about how to join me for the training. So the 10 time management tips in order are: number one, keep your time in check. Number two, take breaks in between. Number three, plan in advance. Number four, set correct goals. Number five, organize your tasks. Number six, eliminate distractions. Number seven, avoid multitasking. Number eight, meditate, exercise, take care of yourself. Number nine, prioritize tasks. And number 10, delegate. Okay, listen, you need to register for this course in advance. It is a class. You guys know that I add value wherever I can. It's a time management training class. There are 3 downloads you need. You'll get those downloads as soon as you register for the class, right? As soon as you register for the training. For the training, you need to be somewhere that you can watch the screen, somewhere you don't have distractions, somewhere you're able to listen carefully. So put in headphones. It's a Zoom call, so if we need you to see everybody else, so have your camera on and ready if you've got a camera on your computer or on your laptop. At the end of the training, I'll make an offer. If you want to get more accountable about time management, I'm going to tell you how you can work with me and my team to get you more accountable, because accountability is such a strong tool for getting things done. We made that joke in I ran this time management training the other day. We had 100 people register. We had 35 show up. So some people couldn't make it. So they're going to come back to this one. And 35 ended the call. That means everybody that got on the call stayed on the call. But we made a joke there about accountability. And I said, guys, if you want to know about accountability, think about your honey-do list at home. And we all know what a honey-do list is, right? If you've got a honey-do list, your wife is holding you accountable to it. Look at how much gets done in that weekend of time that you've got. That's the kind of accountability I'm talking about. I'm going to make an offer on that call at the end of the training. If you want to find a way to work with me, find a way. We'll talk about that. Anyways, the class is going to get full. I need you to have the downloads. I need you to register in advance so that you have all the information available, so that you get your head into the game. If you want to join us for the training, join us by sending a text message to me at 604-837-8361 and just say the word time. It couldn't be any shorter than that. And then we'll have you on the training call. You'll get your notes. You'll get a big boost forward, and you'll be surprised at how you could find tiny little bits of time in hundreds of places a day. All right. Thanks for checking in, folks. I hope you got a lot of value from those tips. We'll talk to you soon.